Good morning. Next module is ethers and epoxides. Ethers and epoxides. First, ether. Ether. As you know, the general formula of ether is ROR. Preparation of ether. Preparation. The most important method of preparation of ether is known as Williamson's synthesis. Williamson's synthesis. In Williamson's synthesis, sodium alkoxide is heated with alkyl halide. Sodium alkoxide is heated with alkyl halide. So, sodium alkoxide, RONA, sodium alkoxide is heated with alkyl halide, RX or R dot X. So you can see that NaX will be eliminated and you get R dash ether plus what is that NaX. Example, C2H5ONa, sodium ethoxide is treated with methyl chloride CH3Cl. We get NaCl will be eliminated and we get C2H5OCH3. Okay, so this is the important method of preparation of Williamson synthesis. Now look at here. One point you have to remember. If we take a tertiary sodium alkoxide and a primary alkyl halide. So what is that? We take tertiary alkoxide and primary alkyl halide. This is the first case. Tertiary alkoxide, that means if you take CH3ONa, this is tertiary sodium alkoxide, is treated with primary alkyl halide, example CH3Cl. Of course, the reaction will undergo the normal Williamson's synthesis. That means NaCl will be eliminated and we get CH3OCH3. We get tertiary butyl methyl ether. What do we get? Tertiary butyl methyl ether, tertiary butyl methyl ether. When you take, so this is the first point, tertiary alkoxide and primary alkyl halide, the reaction will proceed under normal Williamson synthesis method. Okay, now second case, instead of tertiary alkoxide, we take primary alkoxide and tertiary alkyl halide. In the second case, we take tertiary alkyl halide. The alkyl halide is tertiary and primary alkoxide. Then what will happen? The first case was the alkoxide was tertiary and alkyl halide was primary. The reaction proceeds via normal Williamson synthesis and we get ether. But here we are taking tertiary alkyl halide and primary alkoxide. Tertiary alkyl halide. Okay, look at it here. We take, look at here, CH3. This is a tertiary alkyl halide. The alkyl halide is attached to a tertiary carbon. This is tertiary alkyl halide. Is reacted with primary alkoxide CH3ONa. Then the reaction will undergo elimination reaction. The reaction, what type of reaction will occur? Elimination. That means, what is that? Look at here. This, if you take, this is tertiary alkyl halide. primary alkoxide. And if this is the condition, you can see that the reaction will undergo elimination. That means this CH3 can be written as CH2H. So what will be eliminated? HBr will be eliminated. The bond will be shifted, and what we get? We get alkene. That means CH3, C double bond CH2, CH3. Okay. 2-methyl propene. What is that one? 2-methyl propene. We get this product. Okay. 2-methyl propene. Okay. So if we take tertiary alkyl halide and primary alkoxide, the reaction is elimination reaction. Okay. So keep it in mind. Now, reactions of ether. Reactions. First one, acid cleavage. Acid cleavage. When ether is treated with strong acid like hydroiodic acid HI or HBr, we get alcohol and alkyl halide. So look at here. When ether ROR is treated with strong acid like HI, what we get? We get ROH, alcohol, plus what will form RI. We get RI, alkyl iodide. Example: C2H5O, C2H5 diethyl ether treated with HI, what we get? C2H5OH, C2H5OH plus C2H5I. Now, if we take excess of HI, what will happen? This alcohol formed will again react with HI, and what we get? C2H5I plus H and OH, H2O. That means if we take excess of HI, this alcohol formed will be converted to iodide. Yeah, okay. So keep it in mind. Acid cleavage, ether react with strong acids like HI or HBr will give alcohol and alkyl halide. Now, if this is symmetrical ether, you can see that this is a symmetrical ether. Now, if you take unsymmetrical ether, what will happen? Okay. Look at it here. If you take unsymmetrical ether, unsymmetrical ether, okay, that means if you take C2H5OCH3, this is unsymmetrical ether. When it is reacting with HI, which is the alcohol and which is the alkyl halide. In this case, if the ether is unsymmetrical, the lower alkyl group, here it is ethyl and here it is methyl, the lower alkyl group will be converted to alkyl halide, alkyl iodide. That means which iodide will form? Ethyl iodide or methyl iodide. Lower alkyl group will be converted to alkyl halide. That means we get methyl iodide and C2H5OH. So what is the point? Lower, this one, lower alkyl group, will be converted to alkyl halide, alkyl halide. Okay, alkyl halide. That is why we get what is that? We get CH3I. Lower alkyl group. This is our small alkyl group that will be converted to alkyl halide. Oh, that's also that is the case in the case of unsymmetrical ether. Next reaction is Claisen rearrangement. Important rearrangement in ether. Claisen rearrangement. What is Claisen rearrangement? Okay. Allyl phenyl ether when heated will undergo a rearrangement to give orthoallyl phenol. This rearrangement is known as a Claisen rearrangement when allyl phenyl ether. That means, look at here, what is allyl phenyl ether? Here it is O. Allyl group means what is allyl group? CH2, CH, double bond CH2. This is allyl group. Double bonded carbon, then this is sp2, this is sp3. Okay, to this sp3 you are having a ether group. So this is known as what is that? Allyl phenyl ether. This is allyl phenyl ether. This is allylic group, and here it is ether phenyl group. Allyl phenyl ether, when heated, will undergo a rearrangement to give orthoallyl phenol. Okay, look at it here. This is phenol. Orthoallyl phenol means in this ortho position allyl group will come. That means CH2, CH, double bond CH2. This is orthoallyl phenol. This rearrangement is known as Claisen rearrangement. So what is this compound? This is allyl phenyl ether. Allyl phenyl ether, when heated, will give ortho in this position. This is phenol. Phenol is this one, and on the ortho position you can see that allyl group. You see the allyl group. Okay, this rearrangement is known as Claisen rearrangement. Now the mechanism of Claisen rearrangement. Mechanism. Mechanism of Claisen rearrangement. So look at it here. We have allyl phenyl ether. Okay, O, CH2, CH, double bond CH2. Okay, this is allyl phenyl ether. Now look at it here. Oxygen attached. This carbon is alpha carbon, and next carbon is beta carbon, and this carbon is gamma carbon. Okay, look at here. So this is alpha, beta, and gamma carbon. Now during this rearrangement, what is happening? This pi bond, okay, breaks from oxygen, and will join with this carbon. Okay, that means this bond breaks and join with the carbon. That time this pi bond breaks from this carbon and will be shifted to here. Okay, this will be shifted to here, so here it will become a double bond. That time this bond breaks from this carbon and will come here. Clear? That means you get a structure like this. Here no change, and here this bond is joined with the gamma carbon, and so here it is CH2. Since this bond is shifted to here only a single bond CH, and here it will become a double bond CH2, and you can see that this bond is breaking from this carbon, and hence here it will become double bond O. Clear? That means now you can see that this carbon is gamma, this is beta, and this one is alpha. Okay, look at here. And in the next step, what is happening? You look at here. Here is a hydrogen is here. In this carbon there is a hydrogen. This bond shifts to here. The bond is breaking from hydrogen and it will come here. So here it will be a double bond. That time this bond is shifting to oxygen. Oxygen is getting a negative charge. That time this negatively charged oxygen will accept this removed proton. So what you can write? Minus H plus. Minus H plus means this H plus is removed. This is removed and the bond is shifted to here. That H plus is taken by this oxygen. That means minus H plus and plus H plus. What we get? We get, look at it here. Here it will become double bond, okay. And here it will become O minus. Since this hydrogen is coming here, it will become OH, and here it is CH2, CH double bond CH2. Okay, this is the mechanism of Claisen rearrangement. Okay. Next is Seyssels method of estimation of methoxy group. Seyssels method of estimation of methoxy group. Estimation of methoxy group means COCH3 group. Methoxy group. Seyssels method of estimation of methoxy group. Okay. Here in this method, we are estimating the amount of methoxy group, the number of methoxy group in a compound. Okay, so this compound, the sample which you, in which you have to find out the amount of CH3CO, that sample is treated with strong acids like HI, to get methyl iodide. This methyl iodide is quantitatively reacts with alcoholic silver nitrate to give silver iodide. Okay, so look at it here. How will you find out the amount of CH3CO group in a compound? So in the compound, what do you have to do? The compound containing CH3CO group, CH3CO group, methoxy group. Not not CH3CO group, CH3O group, methoxy group, not CH3CO, sorry, CH3O group. Okay, CH3 containing methoxy group, CH3O group is treated with hydriodic acid HI to give methyl iodide CH3I, which upon quantitatively reacts with alcoholic silver nitrate AgNO3 to give Ag silver iodide. This silver iodide is separated, washed, dried and weighed. Okay, now we can see that what is that? Seyssels method of estimation of methoxy group. Okay, CH3O group present in compound. The compound containing CH3O group is treated with HI to give CH3I, which upon quantitatively reacts with alcoholic silver nitrate to give AgI. This AgI separated, washed, dried and weighed. Now let us see the chemistry of this reaction. So as I told you, the compound containing methoxy group, that means this is our compound ROCH3. Methoxy group is here. This type of compound containing methoxy group is first treated with HI. What we get? We get CH3I, we get methyl iodide plus ROH. This is the first step. Now this methyl iodide formed CH3I is treated with AgNO3 silver nitrate to give AgI and CH3 Okay, AGI, that's enough. AGI, okay. We get AGI and plus never mind CH3NO3, CH3NO3. Okay, this is the reaction. This is the reaction. Now look at the stoichiometry of the reaction. Stoichiometry of the reaction. You can see that. One mole of silver iodide. This silver iodide is collected, washed, dried and weighed. And here you can see that 1 mole silver iodide is formed from one CH3O group. CH3O group, one methoxy group. That means 1 mole AgI is equivalent to one methoxy group, one methoxy group, correct? One methoxy group. You look at here, one methoxy group. We are starting with one methoxy group. Okay, it is CH3I is reacting with silver nitrate and we get 1 mole AgI. So 1 mole AgI is equivalent to 1 CH3O group. So if we can find out the number of moles of AgI, we can say that that number of moles of AgI will be equal to the number of CH3O group in that compound, because we cannot directly find out the number of CH3O group in a compound. Therefore, what is that? This methoxy group containing compound is first treated with hydriodic acid. It will change into methyl iodide. Methyl iodide is treated with the silver nitrate, and we get silver iodide. We are finding out the number of moles of silver iodide formed, which will be equal to the number of methoxy group. Okay. Now let us go through the calculation. Let mass of the sample. Mass of the sample means the compound containing methoxy group. Its mass, the compound containing CH3O group, the total mass of that sample. The mass of the sample, M1 gram or M1. Mass of the sample is M1. Molecular mass of the sample, molecular mass of the sample. Sample means sample containing a CH3O group, methoxy group, is capital M. Okay. Now next is mass of silver iodide formed, AgI formed. Mass of AgI formed is M2. We are getting AgI that we discussed. We are getting AgI. That AgI is washed, dried and weighed. Its mass is M2. Now, molecular mass of AgI is equal to 243 gram mole raised to minus 1. 243 gram mole raised to 234. Sorry, not 243. 234 gram mole raised to minus 1. So we start with our sample compound. Its mass is M1. Molecular mass of the sample is capital M. Mass of AgI formed is M2. Molecular mass of AgI is 234. Now you can see that number of moles of sample. Number of moles of sample. What is that? Number of moles is equal to mass upon molecular mass. That is number of moles is mass upon molecular mass. So number of moles of sample is equal to some mass. What is the mass of sample? M1. And what is the molecular mass of sample? Divided by M. This is the number of moles of sample. That means this much mole will give the number of moles of AGI. Number of moles of AGI. What is the AGI? So we know that 1 mole will give 1 mole. 1 mole AGI is giving this ratio. So the number of moles of sample M1 divided by M mole will give what is the number of mole of AGI. Mass upon molecular mass is M2 divided by 234. 234. Okay, M2 will give M2 divided by 234 mole AGI. That means which will be equal to what is that number of CH3O group will give the number of CH3O group. This we have studied. So number of moles of sample is M1 divided by M. From this one we get M2 divided by 234 mole of AGI. Now already we discussed the number of moles of AGI will be equal to the number of methoxy group. Number of methoxy group. Okay. Number of methoxy group. Okay. Number of methoxy group. This already we have discussed. Okay. Or look at here. We continue. So M1 divided by M mole of sample is giving M2 divided by 234 mole AGI, which is equal to number of methoxy group. Methoxy group. Okay. Number of methoxy group. Now, M1 divided by M mole of sample. Therefore, 1 mole sample is equal to M2 divided, what we get? M1 divided by M mole of sample is giving this one. Therefore, 1 mole is giving X, cross multiplying, what is that? X is equal to what we get? M2 divided by 234 into M divided by M1. Number 1 mole of sample is, if you take 1 mole of sample, this is the number of mole of AGI, which will be equal to number of methoxy group. Okay, so M2 divided by 234 into M divided by M1. So once again M1 divided by M mole of sample is giving M2 divided by 234. Therefore 1 mole of sample is giving what is that? M2 divided by 234 divided by M1 divided by M, or you can write into M divided by M1. Okay, M divided by M1. This is the 1 mole of compound is containing this much of what is that? Methoxy group. Okay. I hope it is clear to you. And thank you.